Hello and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering EDH deck tech idea. Today we are taking a look at Squall, SeeD Mercenary. He's a 4 mana 3/4 with Rough Divide, so whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike until end of turn. Furthermore, it also has a very powerful connect trigger, because whenever it deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This Orzhov commander focuses on fighting your opponents alone, which is why there are a lot of powerful Voltron elements in this deck. And in addition to that, use its connect trigger to get powerful permanents back to the battlefield that can help you in assisting your game plan. First of all, Squall is a 4 mana commander and we are in Orzhov colors, so either we will spend the early game with accelerating our mana base with mana rocks, or we will commit Edict Creatures to the battlefield, which will clear the path for Squall to connect later on, and also to be brought back with Squall to keep the board in check. Which is why we play cards like Flashback Marauder, a 3 mana 3/1, and when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. Just as Demon's Disciple, a 3 mana 3/1, and when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. We go with Merciless Executioner, a 3 mana 3/1, and when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. Accursed Marauder on turn 2, a 2 mana 2/1, and when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a non-token creature. And of course Plaguecrafter, a 3 mana 3/2, and when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, and each player who can't discards a card. We are not only playing Edict Creatures, we also play a bunch of instant speed edicts like Sheoldred's Edict, a 2 mana instant, choose one. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature, a creature token, or planeswalker. Along the way, we will also commit permanents to the battlefield that will assist us later on. For example, Benevolent Bodyguard, a 1 mana 1/1, and we can sacrifice it so target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. This will help us to either give Squall the color that we need to connect with our opponents, or to protect him from incoming removal of our opponents. We play Phyrexia, a 1 mana 0/1, and it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. For 1 mana we can sacrifice it so target creature we control gains indestructible until end of turn, and we move a counter and an attached equipment that was attached to Phyrexia to that creature. Zach will also protect Squall, pump him up over time, and maybe cheat an equipment onto him. We play Boromir, Warden of the Tower, a 3 mana 3/3 with Vigilance, and whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Furthermore, we can sacrifice it so creatures we control gain indestructible until end of turn and the ring tempts us. Make sure to never forget the ring temp mechanic when you are playing Boromir, and make Squall your ring bearer. We play Jirina, Dauntless General, a 2 mana 2/2, and when she enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. Furthermore, we can also sacrifice her at instant speed to give all of our humans hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. To handle our opponent's enchantments and artifacts, we play Kafar Commando, a 2 mana 3/1 with flash, and for 1 mana and sacrificing it, we can destroy target artifact or enchantment. And one of my favorite cards in this deck is Wedding Invitation, a 2 mana artifact, and when it enters the battlefield, draw a card, so it already replaces itself. And we can tap and sacrifice it so target creature can't be blocked this turn, and if it's a vampire it also gains lifelink until end of turn. We can get this artifact back over and over again with Squall's connect trigger, draw another card, and make sure that he's unblockable for our next turn, which in my opinion makes it one of the best cards in this deck. I have been talking about Voltron elements, so here are a few of them. For example, Cardusoy's Staff of Hermes, a 3 mana legendary artifact equipment, and equipped creature as lifelink. Furthermore, as long as you have 30 or more life, equipped creature gets +5/+5 and has indestructible, and prevent all damage that would be dealt to this creature. To give Squall trample and lifelink, we play Loxodon Warhammer, a 3 mana artifact equipment, and equipped creature gets +3/+0 and has trample and lifelink. To fill up our graveyards with cards that we can get back with Squall, we play Mask of Memory, a 2 mana artifact equipment, and whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw 2 cards, and if you do, discard a card. Another way to make him unblockable is with Whisper's Silk Cloak, a 3 mana artifact equipment, and equipped creature can't be blocked and has Shroud. One of my favorite cards in this deck is Bilbo's Ring, a 3 mana legendary legendary artifact, and as long as it's your turn, equipped creature is hexproof and can't be blocked. Furthermore, whenever a equipped creature attacks alone, you draw a card and lose 1 life, which is exactly what we want to do in this deck. And the card that will make sure that Squall is big enough to kick a player out with commander damage is Idolized, a 2-mana enchantment aura. An enchanted creature has, whenever this creature attacks alone, it gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of non-land permanents you control. Especially in a deck that focuses just around one creature of yours, the following Boardwipes are must play in my opinion. For example, Promise of Loyalty, a 5-mana sorcery. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacrifices the rest. Then each of those creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control for as long as it has a vow counter on it. Another great card is Single Combat, a 5-mana sorcery, and each player chooses a creature or planeswalker they control, then sacrifices the rest. And then players can't cast creature or planeswalker spells until the end of your next turn. You want to win more? You get it. We play Celestial Armor, a 3-mana artifact equipment with flash, and when it enters, attach it to target creature you control. That creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, which is already some nice protection for Squall at instant speed. Then equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has flying, which is even more evasion. We also play Buster Sword, a 3-mana artifact equipment, and equipped creature gets +3/+2, and whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the damage without paying its mana cost. This card is extremely strong in this deck, simply because Squall will most likely always attack with double strikes, so you will get the trigger twice. Then you will also get to draw 2 cards, which isn't too easy in Orzhov colors in my opinion. And those free spells are great simply because Squall's base power is free, and with the Buster Sword it will be 6, which will most likely enable you to cast all spells that you have in this deck. And last but not least, it's Marsh Flats, as a representation of fetch lands. You can tap it and sacrifice it to search a library for a plains or swamp card and put it onto the battlefield and then shuffle. You can also do this with Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic Expanse, simply because Squall cares about permanent cards with mana value 3 or less. This also includes lands, which allows you that if you get a connect trigger, you will be able to ramp with land cards, especially fetch lands, to accelerate your mana base, which is not that easy in Orzhov colors. Alright guys, these were a few cards that I would play in Squall, SeeD Mercenary. Let me know which cards you would add to the deck, which legendary creature I shall feature next. Make sure to check out my full deck list in the notes below, and then I would say see you in the next one. Goodbye guys.